Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, and I think I owe the Louisville fans a little bit of an apology for sleeping on this team over the last couple of months of this offseason. You start looking at this roster and looking at things that you want to see for contending or conference contending teams. This Louisville Cardinals team checks a lot of boxes. This was a team that I don't even know if I'd label a dark horse in the ACC as much as this is one of the best teams in the ACC. We saw them play for an ACC title in 2023, and I think this roster gets better heading into 2024. Really excited to dive into this team, talk a little bit about what we're going to see in 2024. Really excited to get into it. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. A massive shout out to the Louisville fans. This was a team that was a blast to cover in the transfer portal. Jeff Brohm making some massive additions that we're going to talk about today. Can't thank you guys enough for rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into this Louisville roster. And I want to start with the quarterback spot. And the Louisville fans that have been rocking with the fellas for the last couple of months know that I was rather critical of Jack Plummer in that 2023 season. And by no means was he a bad quarterback, but I don't think he elevated that Louisville offense in 2023. I think what excites you the most about Tyler Shough is he's a guy that is at least talented enough to elevate this Cardinals offense. Jack Plummer last year did a nice job, I would say, padding his stats against maybe some lower ranked teams, but when it got to playing some of the better teams on that schedule, he didn't really play his best football, right? Jack Plummer in the ACC title game, 14 of 36, 111 yards, 1 interception, really a dreadful performance. And I think there was oftentimes you saw Jeff Brohm kind of have to scheme around what Jack Plummer could not do. He was not very good at extending plays with his legs, took a lot of sacks, didn't really have the arm talent to push the ball down the field on a consistent basis. Now, what excites you about Tyler Shough is that he has the talent and the upside to significantly elevate this Louisville offense. Now, the consistency has been a question for Tyler Shough, and the consistency not necessarily with him on the football field, more about the injuries. And Tyler Shough hasn't really played a healthy season during his college football career, but when you do see him healthy, he's a guy that wins a lot of football games. He's a guy that can make a lot of plays at that quarterback position. He's got a big body. He's got a big arm. He's a phenomenal athlete. All things that you weren't really saying about Jack Plummer. Jack Plummer just kind of did what he needed to do in that offense. Tyler Shough's a guy that I think can elevate this Louisville offense in 2024. And let's not forget, Coach Brohm is one of the best coaches in the country at scheming up a passing attack. And if he can do that for Tyler Shough and Tyler Shough stays healthy, you're looking at an offense that I think can take some massive steps in 2024. Now, you look at the pass catches around him, right? You lose a guy in Jamari Thrash, who was a damn good football player for Louisville. This wide receiver room, especially the transfer portal additions, are extremely exciting. And I want to start with the former 5-star Ja'Cory Brooks, was from IMG, Florida, IMG Academy down in Florida, played his high school football. Ja'Cory Brooks is a guy that I'm a massive fan of. And now a lot of people might want to label him a bust at Alabama during his first 3 years. Go back to the 2022 year. Ja'Cory Brooks was one of the better wide receivers in the SEC and a guy that we had a lot of high hopes for in 2023. Can we get Ja'Cory Brooks back to that 2022 form? This is a guy that has all the physical traits that you want. 6'3 plus, big body that can work down the field. And again, he has the traits, but he's also shown the ability to perform at the college football level in that 2022 year. So I'm really excited to see Ja'Cory Brooks and kind of unlock all that talent and potential that we saw flash in 2022. Now, the next guy I want to talk about, who I'm extremely excited about in this wide receiver room, is Colin Lacey, coming from South Alabama. Now, we talked about him when he committed to Louisville. There are some things about Colin Lacey that I absolutely love. You take a look at the production at first, right? Had over 1,300 yards at South Alabama. Over 840 of those yards came after the catch. You are looking at one of the more explosive playmakers in the country with the football in his hands. And why I'm so excited about this fit in the Louisville offense, Jeff Brohm knows how to get his playmakers the football in space. And a guy like Colin Lacey, coming from South Alabama, again, a guy that forced 28 missed tackles in 2023 as a wide receiver, a 76% completion percentage when targeted. I think he fits like an absolute glove in this Louisville offense. And I'll throw out one other guy that I'm really excited about as a pass catcher in this Louisville offense, and that is former Miami tight end Jaleel Skinner. Not much of a run blocker. I think you have other guys on that roster who can be that inline run blocker. You talk about a matchup nightmare in terms of the frame, in terms of the long speed, the athleticism that Jaleel Skinner has. Jeff Brohm's an expert at using these kind of guys and getting them involved in the passing attack. I don't think Jaleel Skinner has nearly reached his potential, but I think the sky's the limit for a guy like Jaleel Skinner. A lot of Miami Hurricane fans will tell you the exact same thing. About 12 months ago, we were banging the table for Jaleel Skinner to have a breakout year in 2023. Can that breakout year happen in 2024? Now, the next position I want to look at is the offensive line. An offensive line that, again, I think might get better heading into 2024. You talk about grabbing Monroe Mills from Texas Tech, a guy that has played a lot of football at the Power 5 level. Monroe Mills last year at tackle for Texas Tech, over 500 pass blocking opportunities, only gave up 2 sacks and 5 pressures. It is extremely hard to find starting caliber tackles in the transfer portal. I think Louisville did that with Monroe Mills. You look on the inside, Michael Gonzalez, I think one of the better guards in the ACC. You get Pete Negra from Northern Illinois, a guy that almost 400 pass blocking opportunities, only gave up 9 pressures at Northern Illinois. You start looking at the boxes that you want to see checked. The quarterback that has a lot of potential, surrounded by a lot of talent in the pass catcher room with an offensive line that I expect to be pretty good. Those are some of the boxes that you're looking for on the offensive side of the football. Now, the last question that we have is, how does Louisville replace Jawar Jordan and Isaac Guerrero at that running back spot? 2 guys, Isaac Guerrero just balled out at the combine. 2 really good running backs. That Louisville team relied on that run game significantly at times in 2023. The running back room heading into 2024, you got a couple guys that I'm extremely excited about. Now, you return Maurice Turner, who's got some jets, an exciting guy. Penny Boone, coming from Toledo. Penny Boone I was going back and watching a little bit of tape on Penny Boone. Over 50 missed forced tackles, averaged 7.2 yards per carry on over 1,300 rushing yards. Here's the kicker for Penny Boone. Over 4.2 yards per carry after contact. You don't see some running backs average 4.2 yards per carry, period. Penny Boone averaged 4.2 yards per carry after the initial contact. This is a guy that has a thick lower half, can absorb contact extremely well. And then you got a guy in Donald Chaney, who former top 100 national prospect coming from Miami as well, a guy that has battled some injuries, but definitely has some juice. I like this running back room heading into 2024 as well. And I think the question is, can they replace successfully the production from Jawar Jordan and Isaac Guerrero behind a good offensive line with a passing attack that I think can be a lot better attacking down the field? I think you see this Louisville run game have a pretty good season in 2024. So you got a lot of boxes checked on the offensive side of the football. Going to this Louisville defense that I think was one of the better and more underrated units across the country in 2024. Many of the longtime listeners know I start on the defensive line, right? When I'm looking for some of the best defenses in the country, I want to know, can you stop the run and can you get after the passer? Louisville certainly can do both. Last year, only allowing 3.4 yards per carry. That was 18th in the country. But more importantly, this is the key for Louisville. They're going to stop the run on first and second down, get after the passer on those third and long spots. And you're looking at, in my opinion, one of the better edge rushing duos that you see across the country. You return Ashton Gelati, who in my mind would have been a day 2 pick in the NFL draft. This is a guy that had a 18% pass rush win rate with 42 quarterback hurries in 2023, was one of the best pure pass rushers that we saw in all of college football. You go to the transfer portal and land Tyler Barron from Tennessee, a guy that in the SEC had a 17% pass rush win rate in 31 quarterback hurries. And those 2 guys accounting for over 70 quarterback hurries in 2023, 2 guys that are going to be getting after the passer on the edge in 2024. Now you go on to the inside, you land 2 guys in the portal. You get Jermaine Lole back for what I think the 7th year that he has. Talk about the 2 transfers. Thor Griffith coming from Harvard, a little bit of a muscle hamster, but a guy that put up some impressive numbers at Harvard, over 20 quarterback hurries with a 13% pass rush win rate. Really good numbers from an interior defensive lineman. And you can say the same thing about Jordan Garrard coming from FIU, 23 quarterback hurries with a 10.3% pass rush win rate, and a guy that is really, really good against the run too. This defensive line for Louisville is going to be very good in 2024. You start looking at the back end. TJ Quinn at that linebacker spot was damn good for the Cardinals in 2023. And then you look in the back end, really excited about what they did, kind of restocking the secondary. That was really good. Now, talking about the secondary, one thing that's frustrating that I think that you can really clean up heading into 2024. They were very stingy with the completion percentage, only giving up a 56% completion percentage. That was number 19 in the country. The number I want to talk about, 7.5 yards per pass attempt. That was 81st. So you saw Louisville play that aggressive brand of defense, forcing turnovers, forcing negative plays, but gave up the big plays at time. And I think the question for Louisville is, all right, can you continue that aggressive nature of that Louisville defense, but also maintain and kind of prevent offenses from hitting the big play over the top? And if they can do that, you're looking at a Louisville defense that was really good in 2023 that, again, I think can take a step in 2024. You look at the back end of that secondary, and I really like what they have, right? Quincy Riley, I look back at the numbers, faced 63 targets, only gave up 23 receptions, a 36% completion percentage when targeted. One of the best numbers that I've seen in this offseason. Quincy Riley, a true cornerback one. Then you go out and grab Corey Thorne from UCF, who faced 51 targets in the Big 12 last year, only gave up 26 catches, a 50% completion percentage when targeted. You got two boundary cornerbacks that are really good. You return Devin Neal. You go and grab Wesley Walker in the transfer portal. I look at this Louisville team, and there's a couple things that stand out. One, there's not really a hole in this depth chart. And with the transfer portal being so heavy the last couple of years of college football, you can't really point to a lot of programs across the country and say, yeah, you guys don't have holes in your roster, in your depth chart. I don't think Louisville has many holes. Now, I think the question is for this Louisville team is, what can you get out of Tyler Shuck at the quarterback position? Can Jeff Brohm work that quarterback magic? And really, one, can he stay healthy? And then two, can he reach that potential? We kind of knew Jack Plummer was nothing special coming to Louisville. I think Jeff Brohm brought him in to just kind of run the offense and steady the ship. I think you bring in Tyler Shuck to be a guy that, hey, we're going to put a lot of responsibility on you to elevate this offense. And if Tyler Shuck can do that, and this Louisville team from a talent standpoint seems to be taking a step in the right direction with what they've done in the transfer portal, this is a team that is extremely dangerous in the ACC. And I'm not even going to call them a dark horse. I'm just going to call them a contender in the ACC. Extremely excited about this program. Going to be talking a lot about it as spring practice, fall camp roll around. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.